don't move and let me see what you can do with it. Wait, don't move and let me see what you can do with it. Wait, don't move and let me see what you can do with it. Wait, don't move and let me see what you can do.